for the HBS platform as well. So we were able to put together this integration. So I'm going to turn it over to Mike Pringle real quick. Let him talk a little bit about the HBS side, and then we'll turn it over to Record360 and let those fine folks talk all about their product.
Hey, great. Thanks, Chad. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, really excited about this. We'd had dealers come to us and talking about inspections and actually out just doing demos and folks asking about inspections. Record360 kind of came on our radar and we started talking, and they're a fantastic group of people, top to bottom, just a wonderful group to work with. And I've really enjoyed getting to know these people. They're kind of claim to fame, I'm going to say the one word, but please don't leave, was rental inspections. And then as their platform kind of evolved and we started really working with these guys, and these guys talking to you, our clients, about inspections and machine inspections and, harvesters and combines and different types of machines coming into dealerships, we started realizing there's a great opportunity here and a great opportunity for you guys to set inspections up as programs inside of their platform. So I think this is actually a great revenue opportunity for you guys as you build out inspections with Record360 as an opportunity to know when a machine's coming in, what to look for to make sure things aren't being overlooked, to capture those photos, to send those photos and interact with your clients and your customers, show them what's going on with their units and try to drive some revenue into your service departments. I think it's a fantastic platform and a fantastic integration. It's not just inspections. It's definitely a revenue center for you guys if you go in this with open eyes and kind of look at this from a creative standpoint. So I'm really excited about this. Anybody that was at the last user conference in Las Vegas had a chance to meet Chad and Jacob. And every time I looked up during a break, there would be a herd of folks over around their booth and talking to them about the solution and the platform. I think it was very, very well received. So excited to have this webinar and introduce these guys and this team to our entire customer base. So I'll turn it over to Jacob and Chad. I think Jacob's going to kick it off and lead us here. So we'll go from there.
Thank you, Chad and Michael, for that excellent introduction. My name is Jacob. I'm on the product team here at Record360. And we're really excited about this new integration that we launched a couple months ago. And so today, I'll give you a little overview of how that integration works, why we built it, and why you should care about it. And I'll give you some more details about how it works. And then my wonderful colleague, Chad, will give you a demo, and then we'll have some time for questions at the end. If you have any questions that come up while I'm talking, feel free to throw those in chat and we can tackle them after the demo. So to give you a little summary of how this integration works, it allows you to sync your HBS unit data with Record360. So this allows for basically automatic import every time you start an inspection of that unit data into Record360 to help streamline the inspection process. So this allows you to keep your data matched between the two systems and also make the inspection process faster, more accurate, and just easier. Similarly, you can access your Record360 units from HBS. So this will let you, as you're navigating through the HBS system, whether you're looking at a repair order or a unit itself, you can click on an inspections button and see that full inspection history of that unit in Record360, which really helps kind of bring these two applications closer together. And as a customer, we think this is a really neat feature because it allows you to make the whole process easier and faster because we can automatically load data for you when you're starting an inspection. And similarly, this also helps keep your data as accurate as possible. So when you're starting that inspection, we're bringing in the freshest data available from HBS, and we know it's accurate because it's coming from the system. And you're not typing things up and prone to accidentally hitting the wrong number or anything like that. And similarly, you can really easily access your Record360 inspections from HBS, which just helps make everything a little bit easier. You don't have to switch between systems all the time just to see one little piece of data. So in terms of how this works in more detail, so when you're starting an inspection in Record360, the overall process is still the same. We just have some cool features in here that make it a lot easier for you. So you can see in this little GIF on the presentation here, as you start typing in that unit number, you'll see a list of results. These are actually units from HBS. So as you type, we automatically search your HBS inventory, display a list of matches. And so you can select one of those without having to type that full number, which just makes things a lot easier. And it also ensures that you're typing in the right number and not accidentally adding another digit or making a 7 or 1, things like that. Similarly, when you load in this checklist, we can automatically load some data from HBS into that checklist and help reduce the amount of effort that you have to do or double entry. So you can see things like year, make, model, hours, serial number are just a handful of the fields that we can pull from HBS to make that inspection process a lot easier and more streamlined. As well, on our web dashboard, all this data that you're putting in the inspection that we're pulling from HBS can be saved to the unit itself. So when you're looking at a unit in Record360, you can see in this photo, there are just some specifications. So this is just kind of the basic data that we pull from HBS. But also when you look at a unit, you can see the full inspection history. You can see recent media and any other information that you might care about in Record360. And you can access this from HBS Systems as well by selecting the little inspections button through a number of different screens, which I'll show you here now. So you can see we're looking at a repair order here, and there's this inspections button. When you select that, it will open the unit page in the Record360 dashboard, which is where you can view the full inspection history, specs about the unit, as well as recent media, the photos and images, any other files or any associated comments as well. Here we have a couple other photos from HBS where you can see, where you can access this inspections button. So you can see on the unit page here, as well as in the rental manager and the repair order, which we just looked at. For all those places, you can access the Record360 unit page, which just helps give you that full inspection history and makes it a lot easier to switch between systems instead of having to go navigate to a completely new app. So now I'll hand it over to my wonderful colleague, Chad, to give you a demo of Record360, both in the mobile app and the dashboard. And then at the end, we can tackle any questions you guys may have.
Awesome. Thank you a ton, Jacob. And thank you to the whole HBS team. I know we got Chad and Mike and Lisa here helping moderate, but thank you to the whole HBS team as well as the customer base. You guys were absolutely wonderful at the users meeting earlier this year. I really enjoyed getting to meet all of you, and I'm super excited to continue the conversations with the folks we met there, as well as some new folks that hopefully we get to speak to after this webinar. So with that being said, and after Jacob's comments, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the demonstration portion of Record360. There's going to be two parts we're going through during this demonstration. The first part is going to be the mobile side. That's where your technicians or reps are actually doing inspections. And the second part is our Record360 dashboard, where we store all this data and make it easily accessible. I think one of the most exciting parts about this HBS Record360 integration is that HBS continues to stay your one source of truth, but now you get the backing of Record360 to make sure that you're getting actionable data captured on every single inspection. So with that being said, when you think Record360, think digital inspections. Any paper process in the business today across rental, service, sales is able to be digitized within Record360. I'm going to be focusing heavily on the service side, as many of the dealers on this call are service and sales focused, but we'll also touch on the rental side as well for the folks in the room that have a rental department. Now, Record360 is the mobile inspection tool. You'll see we've got a rental and service department here. To start an inspection, as Jacob mentioned on the slide, you simply have to hit the start button and type in a unit number from HBS. Serial number, whatever that may be, and it's going to automatically populate the data behind that unit as you type this unit number in. So if we start this inspection, you'll notice in the service department, I just have a couple examples of some workflows you could digitize with Record360. This is certainly not meant to be a comprehensive list, but these are a couple that we found value with our HBS customers. So the first one I want to walk into is a forage harvester type inspection. So you'll notice here, the first part that we're going through is a checklist. Many of the data points that are blank in this checklist would be pre-filled for you all. That's part of the integration. Once you type in this unit number, we're pulling in the most recent and relevant data on that particular unit. So for me, I'm going to be manually typing this in, but this is often things that would pre-populate for you directly from your HBS system. Down below, we can not only have text boxes, but we can have check boxes, things like pass-fail items below. So you'll notice as I go through this, if I notice any failure, all I have to do is hit a thumbs down on this checklist. And I can also have text boxes to notate what exactly happened with that failure. You can type or talk these notes into this section. Back taillights seem to be broken out. So we'll notate that particular failure. Then you continue on with your checklist here. We can also generate automated emails to notify the person of your choosing based on any particular failure. So think about a service manager, branch manager, maybe even a general manager that would like to be notified whenever a failure happens. We can have an automatic email go to them with the inspection summary, all the photos and videos you took, and the notes on why this failed so that they can address it either with the customer or internally. For the sake of time on this demo, I'm going to skip through. You'll see this is a very lengthy checklist. I'm going to skip through a lot of this as we're going to go through a couple different options of workflows here. And I'm going to continue on to the media tab. To start on the media tab, you hit new capture. And you'll notice we have what are called instructional overlays here. So I've got a few different kind of toys in the background here. I'm going to pick one of these for this demonstration. You'll see it says take photo of front of unit. As I click that camera icon at the bottom right-hand corner, it's going to move to the next instruction. These instructions are not required by your team to use, but they are very, very handy. And they also give you the ability to customize these. So you'll notice this list that I have in here is the outside exterior of the unit, as well as the fuel level. They could really be encouraging your team to take photos on any particular item. One of my favorite parts of Record360, though, is the video functionality. So you'll see here I'm recording a video. I can walk around the unit as I'm recording the video. And anytime I notice any damage or any issue on the unit that I want to call out, all I have to do is touch it with my finger. So let's take that light example. When I filled the lights on the checklist, I'm going to touch the rear where the lights would be if this was not a Lego toy, and we'll notate the damage on those particular lights and in the video. Now, when I go back out, not only do we have this great video down here that you can go back through, but we also have the photos that we captured. Now, you'll notice here, we've got the photos that we did based on the instructions, as well as the 2 photos that have circles on them. Those were the ones that I clicked on during the video, and it snapped a photo. For these, you can go back in and notate based on any customizable tag in here what the issue is, or even put in a comment. Back tail lights broken out, see picture, something like that. One thing I do want to call out before moving past the media tab is one of Record360's newest features in our first feature in our AI suite of products, and it's blur detection. So you'll notice here, as I was really close to this small toy, many of these photos were noticed as blurred. As I click into that, it'll give me the ability to go back in and retake these photos or mark them as not blurry. This has been a requested feature for a long time from our customers. They want good, actionable data, and clear photos is a big part of that. From here, you can communicate this out with your customers. I'll type in my email here, for example, just so we can share a copy of what this looks like when it comes over, but you could also text this to your customer. You can also create follow-up tasks or grab signatures at this time. These tasks are able to be done and assigned from the dashboard, which I'll cover in a second. But for this example, where we had the broken lights, we'll go ahead and notate this task and say fix broken lights, and we'll assign it to one of our technicians to fix. So I'll go ahead and assign that to myself. I'll put the due date as today, and this is very important. So we want to make sure this is marked high priority. From here, you can upload this inspection, and it's going to automatically upload off the device and sync back into HBS as well as our dashboard. Those email notifications I mentioned will also be sent out to the team. An exciting feature in Record360 is that you actually don't have to wait for that first inspection to upload. There's no downtime in the shop, so you can go ahead and jump right back into that next inspection. I'll type in a unit number here to start the next inspection, and we'll look at what a PM workflow might look like in Record360. You'll notice this is a much different checklist than what we saw on the harvester inspection. All checklists can be completely customizable. I'll type some inspection data in here. And what I really wanted to highlight on this PM workflow is that we can actually have digital forms in here as well. So as opposed to just having a checklist or feeling like you have to go fully off of paper, we can maintain that paper process for you, but in a digital format. So you see here, the checklist items that I filled out, just those first 3, they actually mapped here into this preventative maintenance document. Now, this digital form can be any digital form. This is not the PM workflow or PM form you have to use. You can send us copies of any paper forms in your business, and we'll digitize them for you. From here, it's the exact same functionality where we're taking photos or videos. I'm going to do a quick video walk around here and call out a couple incidents of damage I want to communicate to the customer, or issues that we're hoping we might be able to upsell them on because they did just bring it in for a PM. We'll notate any failures on these photos, make notes for upsells, things like that. And then we can send this out to the customer as well directly from the device. Now, oftentimes you're not going to have that customer standing right in front of you. Certainly might not have their cell phone for the person that needs to make the decisions on these types of things when you send inspections or bids out to customers. So I'll show in the dashboard how you can send this out at a later date as well. The last part I wanted to cover on the mobile side here for you all is a quick rental inspection. I know that a lot of the folks in this room are more service focused, but I did, for the rental folks, want to at least kind of touch on what that might look like. Same process to start an inspection for rental versus service as it would be for sales. In my rental demo account here, you'll see I've got a pretty comprehensive list of different types of equipment that could be inspected. I also have a couple of examples of what maybe a sales inspection might look like, trailer check-ins, evaluations, things like that. Trade-in evaluations are really common for our customers to use us for outside of just rental and sales. I'm going to jump into this loader workflow here, though, because I feel like that these features in here that are highlighted differ a little bit more from what we just walked you through on the service side. these yes or no questions. We also have drop downs in here for things like fuel and notating hours. In a service inspection, it's typically a one-way inspection, or what we call kind of one and done. But for rental, we can make these two-way. So you see the checkout at the top. This would be followed by a return when you type that same unit number in when the unit comes back off rent. A new feature that is not exclusive to rental is this inline photo feature. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to pull up this workflow in particular. You can give your team the ability to go directly from a checklist to taking photos without having to complete the checklist and move to a separate tab. We also have checkboxes in here and conditional fields around things like attachments. Now, I know for a lot of the folks in this room, when you hear attachments, you roll your eye and you think that's implements, not attachments. We can completely customize that for you guys. So you'll see the drop down here. This is a construction equipment, a loader, so attachments is a better fit, but we could also upload all of your implements in here as well to select for it when you're doing an inspection if that unit happens to have an implement on it. Down below is that pass-fail section again that we saw in the previous workflows. From here, there you see that AI notification that we have not taken any blurry photos yet, and we can continue on to take additional photos. There's those instructional overlays at the front. I'll skip that and do a quick video walk around. I really do think that video is powerful, and we'll notate some of these failures on there. From there, exact same process as before. You're sharing it with the customer, you're creating any follow-up tasks that are necessary, and you're grabbing any signatures. I think on the rental side of the business, the signature is very valuable. It's kind of that extra layer of protection, authorizing that the customer knows that any damage after that is going to be on them. Now, that's going to automatically upload off of my device as well, send out any email notifications that need to be sent, and then it's going to link into HBS as well. So with that, I'm going to pivot a little bit here. I'm going to switch gears and share my computer screen. That is wrapping up the mobile side. You'll notice before I wrap up, I do have a taskbar down here as well. This is where those tasks go. So when I assign myself that task to fix the lights, you'll see that right here, and the team is able to jump in and notate that as fixed. And I'll go into tasks a little bit more here on the dashboard as well. All righty, so I'm sharing my computer screen now. So we'll notice that the Record360 dashboard is pulled up. Before I go into detail on the dashboard, I want to show you what these emails look like when they come over. I talked about how you could email or text this out to the customer, even those automated email triggers that we can send out. This is what they look like when they come over. So let's look at the Forager Harvester first. So this is the inspection that we just did. Here's the pass-fail section in here. We failed the lights for the rear lights being out. The photos and videos are down below. We can customize this language where you see checkout if you're just a service department to make sure that that fits and does not confuse the team. And all of this data in here is hyperlinked in and condensed down. So these are not large files that get sent out. If you had a signature or an attachment, that would be down there below as well. For a rental inspection, say a check-in and check-out, I just did a check-out, but for the purposes of time, I do want to quickly show you what the inspection summary would look like if you had done a return after. So we have something called in and out controls on those two-way workflows I mentioned. Really valuable for tracking things like hours and fuel. Here you can see that the customer returned it with a half tank when it came back in, and there's 8 gallons of fuel that were added. The pass-fail section, where did it pass on the way out but fail on the way in? And then the checkout photos, and then the return photos right here, notating any type of damage. Let's pivot to the dashboard here just for a few minutes. I do want to cover a few hot items in here. As I mentioned, HBS is going to maintain your one source of truth within your business, but Record360 does have this robust dashboard that connects in with the HBS system. The first tab I want to go through is the units tab. It's very self-explanatory. This would be all of your units listed in here. You can see where the last inspected location was. You can see when the unit was created or when the last inspection was done. If I jump into this particular unit, you'll see the most recent media here. And as I scroll down, you'll be able to see some specifications. As Jacob mentioned, this is some of the fields that we can pull in from HBS, certainly not a comprehensive list, but some of the hot button items. We geotag the location of every inspection that takes place. So under a unit, this would be your last inspected location. And then even further down is your inspection history. I think this is a really, really valuable area in the dashboard, as you can go back in and search by any field in that checklist that you filled out, customer name, serial number, things like that, to find particular inspections. If you use Record360 from cradle to grave, as I like to call it, through service and sales, and even if you have a rental department, you'll notice that you can see your entire history of inspections under this one unit. The second tab that I wanted to touch on was the inspections tab. So you'll see here, I've got this filtered in chronological order. Any inspection that had damage notated on it would be flagged here. You can search by any field in that checklist summary to find old inspections. You can filter by any one of these columns above. And you can also filter and save by your own particular location. So if you have a multi-location facility and want to limit access to particular users just to see their things and give the corporate folks access to see everything, this is a great way to do it. Now, I'm going to jump into one particular inspection here, just to show you how you can communicate this with customers, download it, view photos, things like that. In this inspection up at the top, it'll give you a little bit of an overview of kind of what this inspection was. So this was a checkout in the rental department. If we go into, let's say, the preventative maintenance document here, you'll see that it was the service department checkout inspection. We also added in a feature where you can see the duration of the inspection. So this is one area that customers see a huge ROI in with Record360 is time savings. A great way to track it. Where did that inspection take place? The checklist down below. Again, on that PM1, if you remember, we just filled out a couple fields. So this is a short checklist. And then any photos or videos that were captured would be linked down here as well. Now, if you need to communicate this out to your customer, you can either download this, you can send it out for e-signature and even attach additional files that you might want signed via email or text, or you can share it out via email or text message here. Now, the big difference, and there's two main things that differ when you send it out from the dashboard versus when you send it out from the mobile device. The first of which is being able to put a message in there. So being able to communicate to the customer exactly what they're getting is huge. You can also attach additional files to this. So very, very helpful. Think estimates, additional forms that weren't in Record360, invoices, things like that can be attached here as well. Last thing I wanted to touch on was the tasks. So I talked about how you can set up a follow-up task when an inspection is being done. You can also set up a task directly here from the dashboard, and you can tie that to a particular unit or technician. So there's two different tasks you can set up, first of which being the inspection task, and then the second is just a general task. So if we look at this calendar view below here from May, you'll see cracked mirror, service unit 1, 2, 3, things like that. Those are general inspection or general tasks. When you look at these complete inspections on particular unit tasks, that would be a draft inspection. So someone in the office would set that up. Maybe there's some fields that they could fill out on the computer in advance that the technician might not know. And then that individual could assign it to a group of technicians or a technician to complete that inspection. You can view these on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, a calendar view, a list view, however is best for your business. I mentioned that was going to be the last thing. I do want to briefly touch on our reports. This is a relatively new feature within Record360, and it's really, really handy. It gives you a really granular look at each location and how many inspections they're doing. Are they catching the damages that they should? And then, of course, that inspection duration that I commented on when we looked through the inspection that I pulled up previously. So here, as I mentioned, you can break it down by location or even down by individual user to understand if there's an employee that might not be grasping things or struggling with one feature or another. This really helps give you a granular look at that. Now, with that being said, that wraps up my portion of this presentation. I hope you all found that informative. And again, huge thank you to the HBS team for letting us participate in this. I'm looking forward to talking with each and every one of you after this webinar.
All right, Chad, Jacob, we appreciate your time and expertise today. And again, we think the world of Record360 and their product, really believe it's the best of breed out there. It's the reason we integrated with them. So I think we'll go ahead and wrap this up. But if you have any questions, comments, don't hesitate, reach into HBS or reach out to the folks there at Record360.